Moltres looking for that sucker punch farm down, which we get, and it's time to go nuking. Out comes Gator. Philthebaws not messing around. Full send of the Brave Bird. Brave Bird forces the final protect shield, and it's Amoonguss time. Gator, of course, has access to Ice Beam, and it's used to having its way in the Ultra League, but Amoonguss able to absorb the damage, reach the Grass Knot, and Grass Knot is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Welcome back to the channel. Season 20 gave us the biggest move rebalance we have ever seen in the history of Pokemon Go PvP. There is so much to learn, so today allow me to introduce you to 3 new and improved and now top meta threats in the Open Ultra League. For those of you OGs, people like myself who've played all the way since pre-season, will agree that Counter was the very best quick move. However, Counter has been nerfed. However, Niantic made a new move that is actually a counter clone from last season. That move is Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch elevates Galarian Moltres from cool off-meta fun spice to a top meta threat. Last season, if you were a normal type with access to Body Slam, you were so bloody annoying. Stuff like Licky, Licky and Vigaroth were able to spam out that 35 energy, 60 damage with same type attack bonus move, and they were so hard to deal with. Body Slam's no more, it's now 35-50, and Licky, Licky and Vigaroth's reign of terror is over. However, Niantic gave us a normal type move that's actually pretty similar to that, 35-55. Of course, the move I'm talking about is Swift. I'm sure a lot of you who aren't anywhere near as geeky as me are thinking, what the hell is he going on about with all these numbers? Well, let's simplify it. Swift is now a clone of moves we know and love, such as Aqua Tail and Cross Chop, and even this season's Bone Club, so a pretty darn good move. To back that up, just think about how OP Quagsire was. When it got access to Aqua Tail, that thing was a monster. However, to get the most out of Swift, you need to be a normal type, so you get that same type attack bonus. Step up to the plate Ursaring. With access to Shadow Claw, it's able to spam that very decent, hard-hitting charge move after only 10 turns and then 8 turns. Or if you like, 5 quick moves, then 4. Rounding the team off, we're going to have one of them buffed Astonish users, Mod Slap and Astonish, and now 2 of the very best quick moves in the game. Shout out to Philthebaws, who actually showcased Shadow Amoonguss last season, and I thought, holy crap, this thing is such a slept-on pick. However, it doesn't get the same type attack bonus as them astonishes, so it's actually soft losing to stuff like Giratina. Now it's buffed, it picks up that huge matchup. Need I say any more? Without any further ado, let's get into the battle. And in game 1, we're not off to the best start. We see an ice type in the lead. We're ABA weak to ice. Philthebaws safe switches into Amoonguss. His other thing weak to ice, but you can see this little mushroom, pretty tick, able to withstand the weather ball return fire with the Grass Knot. How do you deal with a core breaker? Well, just like that. Shadow Amoonguss not messing around, getting straight in on the big boom action, near one shot in this Aurorus. We leave it deep in the red, which is essentially perfect farm down range for our Galarian Moltres to come in and get a very cheeky little run-in start. The opponent thinking about what to send out. Are they core broken? They send out Goodra. Philthebaws, no messing around. YOLOing yet another nuke. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. They near get one shot for the second time in today's first battle. We then see the pivot into Ursaring, and we're greeted by Typhlosion. You're going to see here, this Swift combination with that Shadow Claw is so quick. We force the first Protect Shield. We're already at the second Swift. The opponent very quickly finds himself all shields down. We see the instant no shield deployed from Phil. Phil says, Ursaring, thank you very much for your contribution. Moltres has this from here. Philthebaws going to start investing Protect Shield. The opponent very likely are going to opt to go straight Thunder Punch all the way. They go for the wham, bam, combo play. Philthebaws going to look to shield at the Aqua Tail, commit to that Sucker Punch farm down. We're only one off the Brave Bird. This is only a Thunder Punch. I don't think this is going to get the job done. Moltres withstands the damage. Philthebaws could have went for the Brave Bird as a bit of a BM, but Ancient Power, of course, is going to be all she wrote, and we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see a great lead. The opponent's Shadow Claw is going to be resisted due to our Dark typing. They save switch into their own Dark type, and opposing Dark types can give Philthebaws' team somewhat of an issue. As Sucker Punch, the Shadow Claws, and even our Astonishes are all going to be resisted, as Dark does resist Ghost and Dark itself. However, Ursaring has access to close combat that is going to land for some massive super effective damage. Philthebaws farms the close combat baits with the Swift, and he's doubling down. Is the opponent going to 2-shield back-to-back baits? Yes, they are, but the question is, can Ursaring withstand the Dragon Tail and reach the close combat? Ursaring says, put some respect on my name. Of course I am. Ursaring picks up that one-hit KO. We manage to keep alignment and we force the opponent all shields down. They send out Gator. Of course, we're going to send out Amoonguss here, and Philthebaws just needs to be mindful of the opponent trying to make a catch. The opponent has access to Ice Beam. Ice Beam simply doesn't get the job done. The opponent then tries their luck, making that catch. Philthebaws like, nah. I'm a former Callum on Toast, Battle of Spice, a reigning champion. I am not a noob. He sees the catch coming in, answers with Moltres. Moltres fires off the Brave Bird. Brave Bird, of course. Massive overkill on Glisserpod. Back out comes Gator. The opponent looking to farm up as much energy as they physically can. But all that's going to result in is another Brave Bird to the face. GG's, and thanks for playing. As I just mentioned there, Philthebaws is a former winner of Callum's competition. And that had me thinking, what the heck are people going to submit to Callum this season? Are we just going to send him like Vigaroth, as that Pokemon is now pretty trash, and ironically it'd be quite good if you can pull some wins off of it. But as always, we've got distracted. We see a fantastic lead. Giratina instantly retreats, and out comes Regirock. Philthebaws answers with Ursaring. Again, this is going to be reliant on landing the close combat. Philthebaws farms up to the double. Full sends. Boo. The opponent invests that Protect Shield, but Ursaring says there's plenty more of where that came from. Fires off the next close combat. The opponent opts to double shield, then attempt to snipe with the Shadow Claws. However, they are resisted, and despite a 4-stage lower defense, Philthebaws able to save Ursaring and retreat back into Moltres. The opponent opting to go straight Dragon Claw here, which suggests to me their second move is probably Shadow Sneak or potentially Shadow Force, which is Giratina's best attempt at its own Hail Mary. Speaking of which, chalk this Brave Bird Big Boom up on the Big Boom counter. The opponent gets one shot vanquished, back to their Pokeball, back out comes Regirock. We bank the Ancient Power, pivot back out into Ursaring. We're already at the next close combat. The opponent looked for that lock-on farm down. The Big Bear holds strong, picking up the one-hit KO, and out comes Gator. Philthebaws opting just to send out Moltres, saying, Amoonguss, you have a rest on the bench. You're not needed today. We land the Brave Bird, Sucker Punch farm down, and take that game. In the next battle, we see Genesect in the lead. I think this matchup is going to be the first example of just how good a move Sucker Punch is here. Counter used to hit this thing for neutral. Of course, Dark is also neutral to the Bug Steel typing, and just look at the fast move pressure. The opponent actually makes a very nice catch, catching the Ancient Power onto Greninja. My god, are they very grateful that Philthebaws wasn't going for the Brave Bird and dip strategy. Philthebaws sends out Amoonguss to answer this Greninja. Greninja going to be spamming out Night Slash after Night Slash, and we really hope they don't get any boost here. The opponent fires off a second Night Slash. No boost is received, and Philthebaws looks to knock it out with a Grass Knot. Grass Knot easily knocks out Greninja. To be honest, it'd probably be pretty close from full health. Back out comes Genesect. Genesect going to fire off the X-Scissor, removing Amoonguss from the field of play, and we re-enter just where we started. Philthebaws this time ensures the Ancient Power does land onto Genesect. Genesect invests that Protect Shield, and they're already very deep in the red. Philthebaws happy to match Protect Shield. Are we going to try and Sucker Punch this down? Philthebaws does commit and's rewarded. Out comes Sceptile. Oh no, Phil. This trainer has a family. Philthebaws YOLO's the Brave Bird. Brave Bird forces the final Protect Shield, and we send out Ursaring. We're really not pressured to shield here, as even if the opponent one-shot us with something like a Frenzy Plant, they're simply just not going to be able to Bullet Seed, farm down our Flying type. They actually opt for the Leaf Blade, which doesn't get the job done. The big Angry Bear returns fire with the close combat, and that is all she wrote. GG's. In the next battle, we see Shadow Machamp. Despite us being a Flying type and then being a fighter, this isn't the best matchup. We essentially are a Mandibuzz, but a more fun variant, meaning we're applying very little fast move pressure. Although, as I say that, these Sucker Punches are adding up. Even when counter is resisted, it did used to add up. Much like Sucker Punch, Philthebaws forces a Protect Shield, YOLO in that Hail Mary Brave Bird, and we see the pivot into Amoonguss. The opponent fires off the Cross Chop Bait, and then send out Mach. This isn't a bad spot for Phil to be in. Grass does take super effective from Poison, but Poison does resist itself, and you can see these Poison jabs really aren't doing a lot. On the flip side, this Astonish damage really tearing through Mach's HP. Phil correctly shields up the Dark Pulse. He then overfarms before firing off the Foul Play, looking to remove Mach from the field of play. The opponent unwilling to burn the final Protect Shield. The opponent then sends out Machamp. Machamp looking for that Karate Chop farm down, but Amoonguss still not done. Reaches one further Foul Play. Foul Play forces the final Protect Shield. Machamp finally gets that Karate Chop farm down, and they have so much energy. Philthebaws just sends out Moltres, looking to use it as the damage sponge. Cross Chop secures the knockout. Philthebaws going to have to burn the final Protect Shield. And let's hope we can nuke whatever's in the back. Cross Chop, of course, forces the final Protect Shield. The opponent stays in, getting off as much Karate Chop damage as possible. And out comes Jellicent. If I was Yasser, I'd say this is a very scuffed matchup. We are double resisting the hex damage from the opponent, but unfortunately, despite our quick move being super effective, they double resist both swift and close combat. Philthebaws recognising close combat, going to hit objectively harder, fires off close combat after close combat, but unfortunately we get hex farm down and take a heartbreaking loss. In the next battle, we see Clefable in the lead. It's a no thank you and a say switch into Ursaring. Clefable also got access to Swift this season, however I found it quite underwhelming to be honest, as Clefable pretty bulky and not a normal type. The opponent farms the potential Moonblast, Philthebaws, calls the bait, and you can see when you're not getting that stab, that 25% bonus on your attacks, Swift didn't do a lot. The opponent then sends out Gator, clearly they have no response for Ursaring, as the opponent is hitting for double resisted with a quick move of Shadow Claw. Philthebaws kills another poor defenseless cat, baiting with the Swift, although just look at this damage. The Shadow Claws really adding up on Gator this time. Phil full sends the close combat, forcing the opponent's final protection. The opponent looking for that double resisted farm down. Ursaring absolutely popping off, reaches one further close combat, not only obtaining a shield advantage, but switch advantage as well. Of course, Philthebaws is going to opt to realign his Pokemon. Unfortunately, it looks like Moltres doesn't really have anywhere to go here, as out comes Licky, far too thick his big brother, Lickitung. Although this looks like the opponent opting for twin nukes, no body slam. They must be on Earthquake and Shadow Ball. Hence they're throwing Shadow Balls at us. The second Shadow Ball, which is single resisted, does get us low. We're able to withstand the damage. Fire off the Brave Bird. Brave Bird picks up that one hit KO. And who said we're worried about any fairy type? Moltres says not me. Reaches one further Brave Bird and sweeps the back line. GG's. Heading into the next battle. What the hell is that? Gigalith? We see the instant retreat into Ursaring, perhaps anticipating the opponent being on SmackDown. However, they are running Mud Slap, which if you're going to use Gigalith, I would highly recommend that. The opponent then says switches into Vileplume. Is this some kind of weird grasshole team? Can you say grasshole if we're not running SmackDown? I don't know. However, we do manage to remove Vileplume from the field of play. Back out comes Gigalith, and they're going to have to very quickly put up their first Protect Shield, shielding up the incoming close combat. As this is the Mud Slap variants, Moltres would have a pretty good matchup in even energy, but behind an energy, Phil plays it safe, sending out Amoonguss to operate as the damage sponge. Interestingly, this opponent isn't running Meteor Beam, or perhaps they're on a Meteor Beam Rockside. Regardless, if they had Meteor Beam, you should probably throw it, looking to vamp up your attack. Philthebaws manages to force both shields off the opponent. We then see the Simul swap of Moltres into Decidueye, so this certainly is some weird kind of grasshole variant team. I have no idea what I'm seeing. Holy crap, the opponent able to land the Brave Bird on us as well, making this game far closer than it should be. Well, not really, as Phil has two shields. We're just going to shield up whatever the opponent throws, return fire with the BM Brave Bird, and Phil says, take your grasshole tap nonsense somewhere else. Philthebaws, being the ever entertaining battler that he is, actually went for a full undercharge, just prolonging the opponent's pain. He allows the opponent to take us out, sends out Amoonguss, Astonish farms down, and we finally manage to emerge victorious. In the next battle, we see Ampharos in the lead. We see one Sucker Punch and the transfer of the Volt Switch onto Ursaring. Shadow on Shadow crime. Ursaring not going to appreciate this charge move. We invest to Protect Shield, shielding up the incoming Trailblaze, which vamps up Ampharos' attack. These Volt Switch is going to start tearing through our HP bar. You can see Phil already finds himself below half health. Phil actually going down two Protect Shields very early in this battle. He shields up the Brutal Swing, returns fire with the Swift. Swift does pick up the knockout. Ampharos is out the way, and out comes Typhlosion. Again, Ursaring just so spammy. Able to fire off the Swift, getting them very deep into the red. We now send out Moltres. Moltres will be able to survive a Blast Burn. It's not going to be pretty, but we are going to survive. The opponent actually opts for the double Thunder Punch play, which is a huge mistake as they're unable to reach the final charge move. Out comes Gator. Gator instantly greeted with the Brave Bird. Brave Bird forced the final Protect Shield, and here comes Amoonguss. Despite this being Shadow on Shadow crime, one Ice Beam simply will not get the job done. For Alligator, you might think you're a top meta threat, but today is not your day, as Grass Knot is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Shout out that opponent, repping a full Shadow team. However, if I was to run them 3 Pokemon, I'd actually opt for a Gator lead, so you're not ABA weak to ground in the next battle. Well, that's a yikes. If I ever did see one, Magnezone. Phil say switches into Ursaring, baiting out Skeledirge. This again, one of them very scuffed matchups. Our Shadow Claws very quickly tearing through their HP. As they're a ghost, ghost does double resist both normal and fighting, meaning we can't hit him for any meaningful damage with our charge moves. Phil sends out Moltres. Moltres going to be looking for the aggressive Sucker Punch farm down, and look at these Sucker Punches go. It's so weird seeing a dark type counter. I still can't quite get my head around it. Phil commits to the full farm down, pivots into Amoonguss. Oh baby, out comes Primarina. Amoonguss absolutely core breaking this opponent. Phil not messing around, going full the Grass Knot. Grass Knot goes unshielded. The opponent putting all the hopes and dreams on Magnezone. This is again where you're going to see the Astonish buff. Bearing in mind, we don't get the same type of attack bonus on these Astonishes, as we're a poison grass type, not a ghost type, but Magnezone's HP rapidly depleting. The opponent very reluctant to debuff their own defense, just going for mirror shot after mirror shot, and Amoonguss very comfortably tanking these. Philthebaws going to burn the final protect shield, shielding up the next mirror shot. I anticipate the one astonish and the foul play. Phil, a very disciplined player, going for optimal fast move timing. Foul play goes unshielded. We then send out Moltres. Moltres looks for the Sucker Punch farm down. We're unable to get it. The opponent fire off the mirror shot, which doesn't knock out. We Sucker Punch farm down and take that game. In the next battle, the Shadow Amoonguss lead has returned, a Pokemon I cannot wait to try out myself, as both Trailblaze and Brutal Swing cost less energy this season. Amoonguss's pacing is ridiculous. Again, we see the save switch into Ursaring, this time baiting out the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death. Holy, look at that swift damage. The opponent's already going to be forced to put up a Protect Shield here if they want to keep Talonflame around. The opponent then gets greedy, reluctant to throw a charge move. The super spammy bear going to either take back switch or force both Protect Shields here in the mid game. The opponent opted double shield, not wanting to lose all their energy, then fire off the Flame Charge. Flame Charge doesn't do too much. We are actually going to respect the next move, as it will be boosted, and then look for that Sucker Punch farm down. Again, the Sucker Punch buff coming in clutch. Phil banks a Brave Bird for the road. Out comes Amoonguss, and once again, this little mushroom core breaking the opponent. Last season in the Zero Shield, when I shoutcast these battles, Amoonguss did actually lose the Zero Shield just because the Astonishes weren't doing enough damage. But this is season 20. You can see the Zero Shield, a very comfortable win for our mushroom. Philthebaws saying, you think the mushroom's damage output's great? Look at my bulk as well. He's actually looking to shield flex. He knows it survives a Brutal Swing, fires off the Grass Knot, and Shadow Amoonguss take a bow, buddy. What a win. GG's. In the next battle, we see Moltres into Venusaur. Nice to see you nice. Oh crap, our joy is very short-lived, as again, out comes Guzzlord. Last time, Phil doubled down on baits to win this matchup. Let's see if he's going to kill many more poor defenseless cats. Again, Philthebaws throws the correct 4 Shadow Claws and the Swift Bait for optimal fast move timing. Oh baby, forcing the first shield. Surely we don't double bait again. I can't watch. Well, actually I can, because if not, I wouldn't be able to shoutcast. Phil does go for that second bait. Swift! Oh no. We're going to double bait, reach the close combat. Phil, you're a very naughty boy and a savage. Close combat, picks up that one-hit KO. Venusaur comes in, gets the Vine Whip farm down. The opponent actually staying in. Oh no, what's in the back? Phil just needs to be mindful of the opponent trying to make the Brave Bird catch. So what I do here is pause a turn, ensuring I see the Vine Whip come through. Brave Bird, of course, massive overkill. The opponent's final Pokemon is Greninja, and it's going to be back-to-back booms to end this battle. Galarian Moltres picking up victims left, right, and centre. Oh, wait. The opponent actually survives, which I can't quite believe, but one resisted Astonish is going to be all she wrote. GG's. In the next battle, we see yet another electric type in the lead. This one probably even more problematic than the Ampharos due to their normal typing. Our Shadow Claws are going to be double resisted. Phil shields up the breaking swipe once again, going for the Swift Bait. I'm not a huge fan of baiting, but this is one very glassy Pokemon. So I imagine they shield everything. Phil plays the CMP tie. He does not win. Oof, and we even get knocked out. I thought we might survive that breaking swipe. Unfortunately, we do not. But we now find ourselves in the 1-to-1 shield. We now send out Amoonguss. My god, Heedless. Probably the biggest core breaker for this team. I'll be honest, things are looking absolutely dire, but we'll never write Philthebaws off. I'm thinking he might pull off some shenanigans and pull off an improbable win. The opponent even gets the debuff. I think our chances of winning are slipping away by the second. Grass Knot isn't lethal, then sniped with the Sucker Punch. Oh my god, ABA Electric. For those of you that believe in the algorithm, clip this battle and use it in your argument. I personally don't believe in it, although this battle looks horrendous. Although if they're on Brutal Swing and Trailblaze, at least Moltres does resist the charge moves. Oh man, this is so rough. Phil just going to put all his hopes and dreams on this very low health mushroom and hope to pull off a miracle. Logically, if you've got 2 electric types, you're going to need an answer for ground, which could be a water type, so perhaps you can one-shot whatever's in the back. Philthebaws does commit to that Astonish farm. Now show me a water type. Oh, triple weak to ground. Here's me running Golurk, and this opponent thinking ground is a myth, but unfortunately that team claps Phil's team, and we're going to take a heartbreaking loss. Although let's be real, that battle was insanely close. If we would have left with just slightly more HP and been able to survive just one singular Incinerate, we would have reached double foul play and knocked out Skeledurge and somehow pulled off the most improbable win. However, let's not get distracted. In the next battle, we see Cresselia in the lead. We tank the Moonblast. Yola the Brave Bird looked to snipe with Amoonguss, and once again we're met with a fire type. By no means fantastic. With Shadow and Shadow Crime, we should force a shield here, which we do. Can we even make another move? Oh, that is DRE. Or at least I think it is. If we die immediately, yep, that is damage registration error. So some good luck for us and some misfortune for the opponent as they're forced to go down 2 shields here in the mid game. Although they should be forcing shields back, or not. Phil calls the Thunder Punch bait. No! Ursaring made a very brief cameo appearance, getting absolutely one shot. We then send out Moltres and we get denied. Niantic, fix your game. There are so many inconsistencies, especially on display in this one singular battle. Out comes Gator. Gator greeted with the Brave Bird to the face, straight in and straight out. We Sucker Punch farm down Typhlosion, Sucker Punch farm down Cresselia, and emerge victorious. GG's. In the next battle, we see Dragonite in the lead. It's quite rare to see a non-shadow variant of Dragonite. Dragonite insanely glassy, so most people think, fuck it, why not just take the shadow bonus? It's not like we can tank a hit at the best of times. The opponent Yola the Superpower then dipped into Gliscopod. I'm really not sure on that play from this opponent, as Gliscopod going to be hitting for resisted with the Shadow Claws. I'll be honest, I wouldn't recommend sending Gliscopod into any flying type, to be honest. They're just going to have an improbable time farming us down. Philthebaws, Yolo's the Brave Bird. Brave Bird picks up that one-hit KO. We can see Phil looking to pivot out, resetting his debuff. We send out Ursaring to greet Dragonite on its return. The opponent plays the CMP tie. They do not win or cap tie if I was to work for Play Pokemon, which I certainly will never do as I talk and swear a lot. Dragonite with his 176 attack, used to winning charge attack priorities, but Ursaring overshadows it with its 180. Out comes Hisui and Decidueye. The close combat rocks them insanely low. And this game is already signed, sealed, and delivered. We're going to be able to send out Amoonguss, Astonish farm down, and emerge victorious. GG's. Heading into the next battle. We lead Galarian Moltres into Virizion. Despite us being a flying type, and them taking double super effective from fly-in, this is a very, very scuffed matchup. We actually say switch into Ursaring, which is certainly a choice, as Ursaring not going to appreciate the double kick and potential Sacred Sword spam. The opponent actually runs or fires off the Leaf Blade. I don't know if they've got Sacred Sword, but I imagine they haven't. Phil forced to protect shield with the Swift, fires off the close combat. Close combat, doesn't quite one-shot, and the opponent then snipes with Skeledurge. I don't really agree with that play whatsoever from the opponent. They're now going to be switch-locked against our Moltres. Perhaps they're just trying to bait it back out onto the battlefield. I was going to say they can hit back for super effective with the disarming voice, but they actually threw the Shadow Ball, which again is a mistake. It's paramount you learn your typings. Phil fires off the Ancient Power, getting the boost. Oh, baby. We see Guzzlord again. Phil opting for the Ancient Power bait, forcing the final Protect Shield. Are we going to go all in on Moltres? Of course we are, because even if the opponent catches, the Brave Bird will one-shot whatever. Although the opponent goes for a very heads-up play, sniping with the Stone Edge. And it's now all down to Amoonguss to clean up. Amoonguss will only be able to hit that Guzzlord for resisted, so I think this is over and not in our favour. Although let's not write the mushroom off yet. Let's see how much this single resisted grass knot does. Holy crap, maybe this isn't over yet. We are going to be able to survive any one move. The question is, can we knock them out with the next grass knot? The opponent now receiving the energy for the next Dragon Claw. Is grass knot enough to knock out? No! Very good effort, but unfortunately, we are going to take a loss. GG's to that opponent. And unfortunately, that is going to draw to a close today's showcase. As always, Phil, it is a pleasure to shoutcast your battles, buddy. You do not disappoint. He's a very talented trainer, and he's normally rocking some very cool spice. I say normally, because he's previously built Amoonguss when it was ranked very low. However, the buff to Astonish this season has made that thing a menace. Of course, PvP still has a long way to go. You can see some of the inconsistencies, even in Phil's battles, stuff like being denied, DRE, etc. do need addressing. I really hope Niantic do look to sort that in the not so distant future. However, what I'm going to say is I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. Season 20's move update has been fantastic. Trainers like myself and Phil who love to run some spice are really being rewarded. I built Dust Noir previously last season for the Ultra League. It was ranked like 700th and it was horrendous. My god, feel free to watch back my battles. I thought that thing was absolutely trash. It's now ranked inside like the top 20. I think it's ranked 17th actually. So now it's time for our Spice Lords to rise up and have some fun. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one.